I am finally getting rid of some deadweight in my FPL team with my 5 free transfers. Guys, welcome back to another team selection video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. As some of you may know, we used the free hit despite having 5 free transfers, and while we did get a high score and a green arrow, I would have got a very similar score if I didn't free hit at all, because my two Man United players, Bruno and Mbeumo, both got a return, which I did not expect when they played away to Liverpool. But thankfully, I brought in Mukiel, if that's how you say his name, I really don't know, of Sunderland, a 4 million defender, because they played against Wolves, and I thought, you know, why not, he could get a clean sheet. Then I checked my goal notification around the 36th minute, and he ended up scoring a goal. So fair enough. Thank you for the 17-pointer. You absolutely carried this game week, and without you, I would be nowhere. Most other people in my team failed. Salah should have got some points. Foden created some big chances that didn't get converted. Aronson missed a big chance, which would have been some great differential points. Obviously, Gabriel did well again, so I'm thankful for that. Thankful I chose him because, you know, his ownership is very high. If I didn't own Gabriel, I would have been toast. So yeah, on the whole, a pretty bad free hit, but I chose a couple good players and it ended up getting me a green arrow. Either way, I'm happy I used the free hit, because if I didn't, I would have sold some players in my team that I really want for the next game week. So yeah, on the whole, it worked out pretty well. With the 5 free transfers available, I only made 2 transfers, which may shock some of you because I could move many things around, but at the end of the day, the main priority was to ditch my Aston Villa players and get in some Newcastle players. The first one I did was sell Watkins, finally, who's dropped 0.4 million price since I've owned him in game week 1, and bring in Voltemada, who is on some amazing form and has some good fixtures coming up. I know Mateta is the best forward in the game's own right now, but he has a very bad fixture along with the rest of the Crystal Palace players that I want to bring in. They play away to Arsenal, which is not a fixture I want to bring in players for. Away to Arsenal is very difficult, and there will not be many expected goals for Crystal Palace in that game. And that's the main reason I'm only making 2 transfers this week, guys, because I want triple Crystal Palace for game week 10. Their fixture run is amazing. They are first for expected goals in the league. They will do so well for my team, just not in game week 9. Game week 10 onwards is where I will make those moves, and that's why I'm saving a lot of my free transfers. Then we sold Konza. Finally, again, another player that had to go, and we brought in Dan Burn instead. I've said this a lot in my YouTube videos over the past few weeks, but Newcastle, along with Arsenal, are the best defence in the league by a long shot. They're not as good as Arsenal's defence, you know, they're not in the same league as Arsenal, but they are a class above literally everyone else. Because I've only made 2 transfers, this means I will go into the next game week with 4 free transfers, and I have no doubt I will be using at least 3. I will probably be using all 4. So yeah, let's get into the team for game week 9. Let's see how I'm lining up. In goal, we have Sanchez. Now, underlying data-wise, in terms of expected goals conceded, they are one of the worst teams in the league defensively, but they have picked up a lot of red cards in previous games, so that's sort of a reason why they're so low. In general, I don't think they'd find themselves as low down in the future, but across the last 8 game weeks, they have been one of the worst teams defensively. So Sanchez, you know, while he's got a good fixture, I'm not incredibly optimistic, but goalkeeper transfers are sort of a waste of time, and Chelsea do have really good fixtures coming up, so it makes no sense to sell him whatsoever. In defence, we have Gabriel. Now, I mentioned Crystal Palace are first in the league for expected goals, but you know, away to Arsenal is just different gravy. It's not a football game, it's haramble, you know. Crystal Palace, while they're so good going forward, I doubt they'll create more than 0.6 expected goals. Well, of course, I could be wrong, but playing away to Arsenal, I've said it so many times this week, is a very tough fixture, and I'm happy with Gabriel because he has got the potential to get a goal involvement, clean sheet, and defcons in every single game. Fun fact for you all, every centre-back that's played against Crystal Palace in the last 5 game weeks has achieved defcons, so this bodes well for Gabriel. Maybe even Saliba, who gets low defcons, could also reach defcons this game week. We have Senesi home to Forest. Now, Forest look absolutely awful. Obviously, with Sean Dyche in charge, things could change because he's a Prem-proven manager. He's pretty decent. He never does amazing, but he'll definitely make Forest better than they have been. So hopefully Senesi can keep a clean sheet. If they do concede, it will probably be from a set piece because, you know, that's how Dyche likes to roll. And they've got a lot of tall players in that Nottingham Forest team. Then we have new transfer, Dan Burn, playing home to Fulham. I'm really optimistic about. I think Dan Burn could get defcons. I think he could get a clean sheet. I say he's a set piece threat, and he technically is because he's really tall, but his expected goal involvements are incredibly low, so I'm not really holding out any hope for that. We then move to the midfield, and I know a lot of you are going to be telling me I should sell some of these players, but Bruno and Mbeumo, the Man United midfielders, have the best fixture run in the league along with Chelsea. Their next 6 games are really good, and they are players I do not want to sell. Manchester United also won back-to-back games for the first time in over a year. In their last 4 games, they've won 3 and drawn 1. So they are on pretty good form, and Brighton defensively have not been great this season. So hopefully with this momentum Man United have, and the fact Bruno and Mbeumo both returned last game week, hopefully they carry that momentum into the next game week and get me some points. I am a Man United fan, a lot of you know that already, so I do carry some bias here, but it is quite nice to watch players in my FPL team that I also support. You know, I've got double the things to cheer for. I can cheer for my FPL team and cheer for the team I actually support, which is quite nice. Either way, I'd keep these two in my team. Man United fan or not, they both have good fixtures and good underlying data, so they're staying here and they're not going to go anywhere until, you know, maybe game week 11 time when the fixtures get a little tougher. Well, I say they get tougher. They play away to Tottenham in game week 11, and if Mbeumo or Bruno's on bad form, that would be a good exit point for them. Alternatively, if they're both on good form, I will be holding them for the foreseeable future. So yeah, that's the reasoning behind my Man United players. Ndiaye and Semenyo, along with Bruno, have all been in my team since game week 1. In fact, I've only made 4 transfers this entire season, and that includes the Voltemada and Burn transfer I've made this game week. So, been playing incredibly patiently. I'm hoping it pays off right now. With all these free transfers, is the right time to attack. So hopefully these moves can pay off. Ndiaye, I was so tempted to sell him. So tempted. I was so close to doing it. I doubt I'll change my mind, but you know, I'll let you guys know on the deadline if anything changes. I very much doubt it. The reason I'm not going to bring in Enzo is because if I keep Ndiaye, I can then sell him in game week 10 for Ismaili Sarr, who I think is slightly better than Enzo. Obviously, I wouldn't make that move this game week because I don't like the fact Sarr is playing away to Arsenal. So if I just hold Ndiaye for an okay fixture, playing home to Tottenham, you know, he's got potential for penalties, defcons and goal involvements. He's been fairly consistent this season, so definitely in with a chance for some points. It's not like I'm just accepting a blank this game week. I know Enzo would be better this game week, but for the long term, I want to own Sarr, so it makes no sense to move to Enzo in game week 9, then go straight to Sarr in game week 10. That's just a bit of a waste of a free transfer. Then Semenyo, probably the only captaincy alternative this week to Erling Haaland because Forest are so bad, and his effective ownership at my rank will probably be above 100%, which means his points will negatively affect me unless he's my captain. The reason I don't want to captain Semenyo, well, there's 2 reasons. Haaland is inevitable and will probably score a brace against any team in the league. The other reason is that Semenyo's underlying data isn't as good as it was at the beginning of the season. Sure, it's still decent, you know. It's not like he's bad, it's just it's not really captaincy worthy underlying data, if you're catching my drift. So far, that's 8 players in my team, all playing at home, all playing a fairly decent fixture, so hopefully this game week can bring me the fruits of a green arrow. The issue is, with FPL, I find this happen quite a lot. When a lot of my players have good fixtures, a green arrow isn't always guaranteed. I mean, normally I'd end up with a red arrow. Alternatively, when I feel like I've got a tough game week coming up, you know, a lot of players with tough fixtures playing away, that's usually when I get my green arrows, which is really weird, but I find that happening quite a lot, but maybe I'm just overthinking it in my head. A lot of you are going to slam me for owning João Pedro this game week, but ultimately, João Pedro is a better pick in game week 9 than Jean-Philippe Mateta, and I want Mateta for game week 10, so there's no point moving João Pedro to a different striker for one game week just to move that striker to Mateta in game week 10. It makes no sense. Once again, it would be a waste of a free transfer, so I'm holding João Pedro for his good fixture this game week, and to be honest, even if he scores 4 goals, I'm still going to sell him. He's obviously not going to score 4 goals. He's not even had more than 4 shots in a single game, so that's very unlikely. Either way, if he does score or doesn't, it won't matter too much because his effective ownership is still really high. You know, if I have him in my team, it's quite safe. If he gets points, it will help me a small amount. The issue is if I sell him and he does get returns, it's going to kill me. It's going to shoot me down in the ranks. And played home to Sunderland, he has every chance of getting a goal involvement despite his poor form. Obviously, we got new signing Voltemada. We sold Watkins finally. He's out the team. What a waste of space that guy was. Voltemada is on amazing form and I kind of wish I jumped on him sooner. I honestly believed he wasn't going to be that good. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I thought he was going to be a bad striker, you know, it just didn't seem like the right move for Newcastle. And a lot of players that come from the German league often flop. You know, there's so many I could name. Werner, Wirtz, I can think of some more, but I can't be asked right now. The point is, I didn't think it was going to work out. So despite the good data and the good form, I never brought him in. You also have Wissa to think about. You know, there was always going to be a rotation risk there, but Wissa is injured right now, and Voltemada is on such good form. I just don't see him being benched anytime soon. Like, you can't bench a striker who's playing that well. You just can't. And obviously, that leads us with our main man up top. The man with the captain's armband, playing against an off-form Aston Villa team. We have Erling Haaland. No one doubted it. He was always going to stay in this team. Once again, another player who's been here since game week 1. Haaland is doing pretty well this season. In case you guys haven't noticed, he is averaging 10.4 points per game this season. If he keeps this up, he will end on a 380-point season. I honestly think if he doesn't get injured, he will beat Salah's FPL point record the season after Salah did it, which would be quite rude to Salah. You know, he only just broke his own record and Haaland's come away and swiped it. But with the form he's on, I don't think anyone would be surprised to see it happen. Haaland is in my team for the rest of the season, no doubt, unless he gets injured. So yeah, guys, that's how I line up. Let me know what you think of the team down below. If you did make it this far, you are always greatly appreciated. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.